India's coffee exports saw a robust growth of 15% in value terms, reaching over $1 billion in the first half of the current financial year, according to data released by the Coffee Board. In rupee terms, exports rose by 19% to over 9,000 crore rupees compared to just over 7,600 crore rupees in the same period last year. This surge in value comes despite an 11% drop in export volumes, which fell to under 2 lakh tons from over 2.1 lakh tons a year ago. The higher earnings are attributed to stronger prices, with the realization per ton rising 34% to 4.7 lakh rupees, up from 3.5 lakh rupees per ton last year. India, the 7th largest producer and the 5th largest exporter of coffee globally, exports nearly 2/3 of its coffee production. Looking ahead, the Coffee Board estimates that India's output for the 2025-26 crop year, which began in October, to be at over 4 lakh tons. The new harvest typically begins arriving in November, and the pace of the crop's arrival will determine the momentum of future shipments. Meanwhile, India's export of petroleum products hit a one-year high in September. Exports reached 2.2 million barrels per day, up from 2.1 million in August. This is according to data from the latest. However, exports were still down 4% compared to the same month last year. The UAE, Netherlands and Brazil emerged as the top buyers of India's refined oil products. Exports to the UAE rose sharply by 44%, while shipments to the Netherlands jumped nearly 300% from just 33,000 barrels per day in August to over 130,000 barrels in September. Exports to Brazil more than doubled, rising from 40,000 to 98,000 barrels per day. Of the total exports, the country's privately owned refineries cumulatively exported 1.3 million barrels per day of refined oil products. Analysts say India's exports are expected to remain steady as European buyers may accelerate purchases of Indian gas oil and jet fuel in the final quarter of the year, ahead of fresh sanctions set to kick in by January 2026. India has taken a major leap in atmospheric science with the launch of its indigenous SODAR system at the India Meteorological Department headquarters in New Delhi. Inaugurated on CSIR Foundation Day 2025, this breakthrough technology was developed jointly CSIR Advanced Materials and Process Research Institute, AMPRI, Bhopal. SODAR, or Sonic Detection and Ranging, is a ground-based remote sensing device that uses sound waves to measure wind speed, direction, and the thermal structure of the lower atmosphere. Much like radar, but with sound instead of radio waves. It works by sending acoustic pulses upward and analyzing their echoes to provide detailed information on wind patterns and turbulence at different altitudes. Until now, India relied heavily on imported equipment for this purpose, facing strategic, financial, and maintenance challenges. With this homegrown SODAR system, India not only reduces dependency on foreign technology, but also gains cost-effective, customizable solutions, ensuring metadata remains fully under national control. India's push for self-reliance is now making its way into schools. NCERT has introduced dedicated classroom modules on Swadeshi, linking its historical roots in the 1905 anti-partition movement in Bengal to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's modern vision of an Atmanirbhar Bharat. Titled Swadeshi, Vocal for Local, and Swadeshi for a Self-Reliant India, the publications revisit the original movement that encouraged India to boycott British imports. The content draws connections to current government initiatives such as Make in India, Startup India, Digital India, Vocal for Local, and Atmanirbhar Bharat. They promote innovation, research, and strong domestic capabilities in fields like semiconductors, clean energy, agriculture, and artificial intelligence. Importantly, the materials place AI at the center of today's Swadeshi, giving the movement a forward-looking modern dimension. NCERT emphasizes that Swadeshi is no longer just a historical concept, it's a strategic approach for strengthening India's position in an uncertain global economy.